Although not particularly common in Access systems, it is possible to actually have more than one field acting as the primary key. So far, when we've required a primary key, we've actually used an auto number if a naturally occurring primary key has not been available. Now there is an alternative, and that is to use more than one field to form the primary key. If we take our sales table, for example, in our customers database, we gave this a sales ID so that each sale had a unique reference. If we didn't want to do that, but we needed some other way of defining the uniqueness of each record, then what we could do is use more than one field. So if I go into design and delete the sales ID, are you sure you want to permanently delete this field and all the data? I am. This will delete the primary key. Are you sure? Sure am. Now that's gone. So we have no unique reference. Now we can't make it the sales client the unique reference because the sales client could potentially have more than one sale. So there will be no uniqueness. We can't make it the sales date because the date will occur more than once. We're going to sell things to more than one customer on each day, or we hope we are. The sales value can't be the uniqueness because each sale, although potentially could be a different value, we could have repeating values. We could certainly make an order for $100 and then another order for $100. But what I could do is hook 2 or potentially 3 fields together to act as a joint primary key. If I were to highlight the sales date and the sales client, I could make them be a joint primary key by clicking the primary key icon. And you can see that the 2 fields together now form the primary key, which means I won't be able to enter into the database the same sales client on the same date. I can enter the sales client more than once. I can enter the sales date more than once, but what I can't do is enter the same client on the same date. If that's a valid restriction on my data, 1 sale to each person per day, then that's a great way of actually making sure that that happens in the data. So let's save our changes and view. If we now try to data enter, let's put 100,000 in on July the 5th. You do recall that if you're data entering a date in Access, we get the little drop-down calendar, which can be quite useful. But if you want to stick with the keyboard and type, if you just put the month / the day and then tab on, it assumes the current year. So we're dealing with Access 2013. We tab through and it defaults to 2013. So on July the 5th, sales client number 3 spent $100,000. Can I add a changed record because a related record is required in TBL customers? Obviously, I need to know that the sales client is a valid ID. Let's stick with 2 because that must be valid. And then have a quick look in the customers. It goes 2, 4, 5. So there's no 3. Then we come to enter another one, 67,000. Same date, July the 5th. Same customer, number 2. And I can't. See here it says the changes you requested to the table were not successful because they would create duplicate values in the index, primary key, or relationship. Well, it's in our primary key that it would create a duplicate because we're using the sales client and the sales date together. So I cannot make 2 sales to the same customer on the same day. I can make them on different days, so I can have the customer in the table multiple times, and I can have the date in the table multiple times, but they have to be to different customers. So let's make that 67,000 to number 4. So that's a multiple field primary key. They're not really that frequently used, but they do have their uses from time to time when you're looking to help restrict or safeguard the data that is being entered by saying, actually, these 2 fields, when acting as a pair, must be unique. On their own, they can repeat and have multiple values, but when dealing with them as a pair, they must be unique and only appear in this table once. So in our scenario, we can only sell to each sales client once per day.